The Danish Deception, part 19. And I don't want to waste y'all's time, so this part's actually going to cover between January 2025 and July of 2025. Okay, so I call my ex and I'm just so confused. Why did you commit to paying $10,000 for this wedding? I just do not understand. And he said, well, you know, I really just wanted to help your parents out. And now I understand narcissists have this need and desire to be admired. And that's where it came from. It wasn't just him wanting to be a good person. But I was super frustrated and we talked about it, went back and forth. I'm like, we don't have to do this. Like, my parents are very generous. I know they'd be more than happy to like pay for the wedding. But he said, no, like, let's just give them something. Let's give them 10,000. I was like, I just feel like we don't need to do that. He's like, no, let's do it. So I call my mom and my dad and I said, hey, are you guys comfortable with us paying 10,000? And they're like, absolutely, that's fine. Like, we'll cover the rest. And they loved my ex and they were excited for this wedding. And side note, I had communicated to my parents about the business account. So I told them, we're going to end up paying you in July, if that's okay with you, just because we had a bunch of expenses. They didn't know about like the payments of crypto and everything, but I just said, hey, we're going to pay you in July. I hope you're okay with that. And they were more than fine with that. And so we put that to rest. I need you guys to remember that 10,000 that was promised to my parents. There's a reason why I'm bringing it up. It's going to come back in the end. So now it's January of 2025. We are in this year, you guys. I promise this is coming to a close tomorrow. So get ready. But it's January 2025. We get the news that his green card has been approved. And we're so excited. And I remember just being over the moon. And one of the biggest reasons why we were excited is because our very, very best friends were getting married in March in Spain. So we were so hyped and excited to go celebrate them. And at first we didn't even know if we could go to the wedding. And so when the petition got approved, it meant that he can like travel out of the States. And so we're getting super excited. We weren't just going to Spain. We were also going to go to see his family in Denmark because his little nephew was getting baptized. And then we were also going to go to Portugal for 2 days to look at wedding venues. So this was a very, very exciting trip for us. And before you guys come for me, we were in what I thought was a great financial position and we were up to date on our payments with crypto. So it was okay for us to go on these trips. So we have such an amazing time at the wedding. It was a very small, intimate wedding. There was 30 people there. It was perfect. And afterwards we went and saw his family, went to his nephew's baptism, spent a lot of time with his extended family too. That was wonderful. And then we went to Portugal to look at venues. And I remember I set up a couple tours and I made sure to be very mindful of cost because obviously I wanted us to be smart and I didn't want us to go over budget. And I remember having a conversation with him, telling him that, listen, I do not want this wedding if it's going to jeopardize your sobriety. So if we need to wait a year, if we want to renew our vows at year 5, we can do that. I do not want this wedding to put any pressure on you. And he said, you know, the business account's going to open up this summer. We're going to be okay. I promise. I don't want you to stress about that. And so I believed him and I trusted him. So we look at a couple different venues and we find one that we really like and it's very reasonably priced. The deposit was only like 1,500 euros. And he said that his mom was going to actually pay for it. And I said, hey, that's fine. That works perfectly for me. So we get home and he said, you know, I just feel like it doesn't make sense for me to have $60,000 to $70,000 worth of watches. So I think I'm going to sell my watches. And I asked him, I'm like, are you 100% sure? He said, yes, like it's unnecessary, especially with like us like trying to accomplish all of these financial goals and just having these expensive watches just does not make sense. And so I 100% supported him. And so he packed up the watches in the boxes and then he left the house and came back and was like, okay, I just took him to a showroom. I'm waiting for them to sell. Obviously, I don't have the money yet, but hopefully they'll sell within the next, I don't know, like a couple weeks to a month. And I said, okay, that sounds good. So that was April of 2025. And in May of 2025, we decided that we wanted to build up his credit score so that we could maybe buy a house within the next couple of years. And his credit was basically zero because he had just moved to the States. And so I had a credit card that we had just paid off. It had a zero balance. And so I was like, okay, let's add you on this card. And so we added him and he had no plans to even really use this card. It was just, you know, for me to use for like groceries. We were just really trying to build up his credit. And so I looked at the balance one day and it was super high and I was so confused. And I started going through the details and I saw that there was a cash advance for $7,000. And I was like, what is going on? mind you, I'm not home. I had just finished a showing, so I'm in my car about to head home, and I call him and I'm like, what is this cash advance? And I go, you better tell me the truth immediately. I do not want any bullshit. And he comes out and he tells me, I relapsed again. I've been gambling again. And that was the very first time that I just came out and asked him, and he said yes. And keep in mind, his last relapse was October. This was now June. And so obviously I'm hurt, I'm sad, but I'm also like so grateful that he told me the truth. I remember the first thing that came out of my mouth was, thank you so much for telling me the truth, because I just was grateful that he didn't automatically lie about it. So I come home, I'm obviously very upset, but I'm trying to meet him in a peaceful way because he is trying to be honest with me. So I walk into the house and I'm like, tell me everything. And he said, okay, well, I took a salary advance in May and I tried to recoup it. And I actually ended up selling the Rolexes and taking that money and gambling it away. And so I took the money from the cash advance to try to win it back, and I haven't spent it yet. I still have some of that, and you guys, this was such a weird experience because I was so angry and hurt that I was still going through this, but this was the first time that he was being open and honest with me, quote unquote. So I was grateful for that. So I told him, I'm like, okay, well, I just have to ask you a question. Is this because the business account doesn't exist? Like, I just don't understand why you would relapse when this money's coming. He goes, babe, like, you just don't understand gambling. Like, it just, sometimes it happens and there's no rhyme or reason. And so I said, okay, I just need to confirm with you again, is this business account exist? He said, 100% it exists. And I'm sorry, I promise you, like, if this feels different, like just being able to like come forward to you, be honest with you. I feel like I really am changing and I want to be better, and this money is going to hit. We're going to have our dream wedding and everything's going to be okay. And so I believe him and I trust him. And then fast forward to July, I ended up having a bachelorette party for one of my good friends, Tracy. And while I'm at the bachelorette party, I knew the date of the hearing with the Danish IRS for his business account to open up. I knew that was going to be while I was on the bachelorette in the middle of July. And so I remember I was on the bachelorette and I woke up early on the second day I was there because I knew that was the day of the hearing. And I get a text from him and he says, call me when you can. And we will pick up the rest in part 20. And tomorrow is the grand finale. And I hope y'all are ready because it's about to get absolutely insane.